All right. So, in another universe, the Gunpole, an oppressive alien race, has control over the world. They believe to be the supreme race and took advantage of the other creatures' skill for personal use. Some have become captured slaves, some have become part of the food chain, and others are constantly used for experiments to make their race's evolution process as fast as possible to the perfect race. Whoa, there's a lot to read here. Okay. In one of the Guncoal laboratories used for extreme mental experimentation, where drastic and cruel methods were used to push the mental power of the creature to their limit, with the only scope of extracting and collect DNA to be used on future breeding experiments. The laboratory, as many other, is managed by Evov, a devoted race to the Guncoal, not interested on government power as such, but much more on the science with a side of sadism by seeing other creatures suffer. These characteristics made them perfect workers for the tasks, allowing the Guncoal to focus more on other important matters and let them do the dirty work. In the middle of an experiment aimed to enhance telepathic powers, an innocent Eken named Filt unlocked a gateway to another dimension using his telepathic powers. Not a common skill for an Eken, due to strange experiments that have been run on Flit in the past, have somehow evolved him into something much more than a common Eken. The gateway has been open for a few seconds, but what they could see there made them excited due to their natural curiosity and ambition for scientific progress. Part of the documentation of that day went destroyed so they could keep the secret from the Guncoal until they knew more on how to reproduce to stabilize the gateway. From that point, Flit became a really valuable subject for the FR. And the tests became more and more painful for him, so much that he would rather go back to his slave condition rather than continue to support this one more time. These failings made his powers stranger, so much that they had been able to open the portal one more time, but this time something came out from it and made the laboratory on emergency status. This allowed Flit to escape the room and give him the opportunity to seek his freedom. Okay, there's a summary in the game. That's fine. I mean, I don't mind reading this aloud for chat. You took the time to write it, so I figured at least I could do is read it. And I agree, Lurk not a lie. Holy backstory, Batman. There's a lot here. So, okay, we've got the game downloaded. Just a straight up EXE from Godot, no problem. Let's go ahead and start that call if you are ready. Oh. Wow. Hello. 1 second, I've just got to disconnect and reconnect via... There we go. Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, yes. Yes, that's... I just had to... I accidentally called you from Discord webpage instead of Discord app because I have different volume levels set for each of them. So...
No problem.
No worries. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Is Degrand okay, or do you have another name you prefer to go by?
Anything, even my real name, but it's fine. Degrand will be fine for now.
Okay, Degrand. Am I good to start the game here, or is there anything else I should know about it?
I pretty much did the game alone. I come with a background as a developer. I pretty much do the full living, and I decided to went more for an art version this time of a gem. Mostly because it's the part that I'm feeling I'm weakest at the moment. I've been practice for the last 2 months on pixel art, mostly because my drawing skills are terrible. And I found that pixel art helped me out to sort that issue. The reason why I went for the story is because I'm like a Dungeon Dragon players, and I like those kind of things. And I feel that a good lore on games is a must-to-have for what I like to play, and I wanted to bring part of what I like as well on this game.
Nice.
The main inspiration for the game that I had were Stranger Things and Oddworld. So if you see some of those elements on the game, probably why they are there. Unfortunately, there is no checkpoint mechanic, so probably that will be tough.
Okay.
But the game is quite short, so it should not be a big deal on that point. It's probably something that I'm going to be addressed after the game jam. Obviously, when you have 48 hours and you work alone, you need to make sacrifice.
Of course. I'll do my best. Okay, so how did you decide on what you're going to make for the jam?
I was looking for GMTK gem for a long time during those years, and I decided that probably this was the right time to do it. I participate all the gem before, but were like weekly gem, and I say like, why not get to something that have a bit more exposure and get a bit more feedback about my idea of games.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to get like. It's one of the main reasons that I participate in game jams as well, because like, yeah, I could just make random stuff and then hope people play it, or I could submit it as part of the game jam, and then people are actually seeking things out. So,
Yep.
all right, Dragonazer, do you have a hidden room behind a barrel somewhere? If not, Oddworld enough, or it's not Oddworld enough.
Don't have secret rooms, but you will see through the games that you can still access the same room from a different dimension, so you may see different stuff.
Okay, and then A is your action button. Is it literally the A key? Yeah. Okay. All right. No secret new rooms yet, says Burrito Eclair. All right. So, what was your development process like for the game?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh yeah, what was your development process like for the game?
I decide first the genre that I want to tackle and the main mechanic, so the double dimension that you see here, and I try to create a story behind that one. And as I said, take inspiration from Oddworld and Stranger Things, so try to connect the two things together. I start to develop first all the main mechanics of the movements that you see on an isolated room. The second thing that I started to work out was this elevator and a way to move between up and down the room so it could feel the game in a different way, not just jumping between high heels on a platform game that usually you do. Yes, then the last part was pretty much art. Like I spent the rest of the time just making pixel art.
All right, and were you drawing the environment here? Like, is it a tile set, or did you draw on it like all by hand?
I made first without the tiles, and then I basically shrink and cut down in a way that it fits like some sort of tile set that I can paste and create the levels. You will see that those acid ponds probably with a shader that reflect things. Probably that's the part of the code that I spent most of the time.
Nice.
I know that is small things, but I like to code, so that's where I spend most of the time, mostly.
Yeah, sounds good.
What you will notice is that those dark areas that keep you safe from enemy, for some video card, they are a bit more darker for some reason. For you, seems fine for now. Careful with that guy.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be an enemy. Yes, Lurk Not Lie. Thank you for reminding me to move my cursor off screen. All right. So I saw that it said your action button is Q in the other realm. Does Q actually do anything, or is that a typo?
No, I changed the action from Q to A, and that is a leftover of something that I forgot because my brain was fried.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, Dragonazer is saying that they can see the Oddworld inspiration, and yeah, I completely agree. Like the main character seems like, other than having the sort of longer kind of flappy head thing, I am assuming is that part of the inspiration? Oh no, okay, oh.
You can double jump, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know you could double jump, and yeah, we got a long way to get back there. All right. Says one hit death. That's
yeah, old school, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I would say I'm looking forward to playing a version with checkpoints. All right, I'll do my best to get through the game, but you know, I did post the link in chat so that people can try to play along themselves. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with creating the art for the game?
Yeah, I watch a lot of video of Adam C. Yanis. I don't know if you ever see that guy, and it explained a lot of how to do good animation, and that helped me a lot because making the pixel art as it stands, I didn't felt that hard. What is making hard is make the animation because you need to start to rotate a lot of part of the body. A lot of the things needs to be recreated, and that's where all the time goes pretty much. I tried to keep like a less animation as possible on this one. So as you can see, you can only jump, run, idle, and the death. I wish you could lay down and maybe roll as you used to do on Abe, but that will take more time. So I need to make sacrifice. A lot of the enemy that you saw on the splash screen of the beginning are not implemented for that reason. Like their mechanic is on the game, but the animation was not there. And instead of to release something that could look buggy, I prefer to not do it. You only see probably the aliens on a couple of rooms that are just static there. Also because they don't have the idle animation either. But I feel like at least it will give an idea of who are the people that I pointed out on the story.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's a good call to just keep them for the world kind of like flavor and decoration. Do you have a recommendation, like a useful shortcut, either in your art creation process or in Godot that you can recommend to others?
In general, I felt that Godot helped me out more to produce a game rather to learn the engine. Like I used to work with Unity in the past, and I was spending more time out to learn to use Unity instead of to actually make a game.
Yeah.
So my shortcut will be like, give a try to Godot. It's worth the time invested for sure. It's open source. I'm really into open source project as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of sprites, like start with small sprite canvas. That will help you out to... Oops. Almost there. By the way, you were at the last room, so on the right was the last room. That was basically
Okay.
Thank you for playing.
Okay, I'll try to get back there. Now that I know where I'm going.
Yeah, in terms of a pixel art, start with small canvas, select a prefix palette so you can get used to the rules of colors and those kind of things, and just keep trying. It's a repetition things, as probably 99% of the things that we learn as humans.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, like, did you say you just started trying to improve your pixel art as of 2 months ago?
Yeah, that's correct.
This is incredibly far along for just 2 months worth of work.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, did you have some experience with drawing and digital art before then?
I tried to drawing with a tablet, but when I compare my stuff that I build with others that probably are doing this for a long time, it makes that feeling that you are not on the right level, and it's probably not something that you should do it. Whoop.
Yeah, I got greedy.
And since I'm a developer as a work, my job is being a developer, I felt that probably I need to obviously get better, but I will never reach that level as I'm doing as a developer. I think it will take too much time that I will not be able to reach that point. So the pixel art for me was a compromise in that regards.
Yeah, all right. So if you had the option, like, what sort of games would you be making?
I would like to start something on the 3D. Obviously, 3D modeling is another step on the learning curve, but maybe a voxel style, so I can keep the rules of the pixel art and implement just the 3D part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen the program Magica Voxel?
I had a look to that one. I haven't downloaded yet, so a couple of videos. Looks interesting because, as I said, they follow the same concept of pixel art, but in a 3D world environment.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that's why I just thought I'd mention it, because it's, even I messed around with Magica Voxel, even though I know nothing about actual proper 3D modeling. Okay, don't get too greedy. Gotta wait for this guy to come all the way back. All right. Well, I guess in terms of feedback for the game, I mean, you already know the most important thing, adding in checkpoints to the game. Is this guy gonna... Ooh, okay, there he is. If there was...
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, just if there was some way to get past the enemies slightly faster. Um,
Yeah, basically how the enemy works is that we are following a line as a
yeah.
path, and you decide on which point you want to stop there through an array of points.
Hmm.
And I set like a variable as an integer or about their idle time.
Hmm.
Probably I should shorter them, but I wanted to give opportunity to plan your movements. Like it's much more a strategic platform game than actually an action platform game. I know that those days probably guys are much more toward to play action platform games.
Hmm.
I guess I tried to bring like what I used to play when I was young, like on the first Oddworld.
Yeah. And I think there's nothing wrong with having a more carefully considered action or platformer than it's not. It's less of an action, more about like being careful and watching what direction you're going in. The only reason I bring it up is because there's a lot of time that you spend like just waiting for the enemies to like go to the far end of their path and then turn around. So
Yeah,
even if you included more enemies that you had to run between multiple shadow sources just so you aren't waiting as long on any single enemy.
yeah, I will say that the main issue that I have on this level design was I ran out short of time, short of brain
Of
power as
course.
well,
Yeah.
and I wanted to introduce mechanics in a way that the player can get used to it
Hmm.
before move out. So that was three challenges that I was facing pretty much. Probably with more time and a better study behind that one, I can implement something much more intuitive for the player as well, how to play.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm glad I got to the end of the game despite a couple of false starts there. The artist that you mentioned, Adam, can you post a link to that in the Twitch chat?
Yeah, sure, I can. Let me get it.
Thank you. And also, if if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, now's be the time. Okay, yeah, Adam C, Eunice, and Joe Creates are two really useful quick artists resources to take advantage of. Excellent. Okay, and perfect. Thank you so much for posting the link.
You're welcome.
Because yeah, best I can do with pixel art is like is this. So I would love to get better at pixel art myself. Um, but
That's fine. As
yes,
I said, it takes just repetition.
yep.
Learn about volume instead of lines. Like try to get the volume of what you're trying to draw in before everything, and use the shadow to give that 3D elements that is missing on a 2D canvas.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just used gradient fills on every surface of this because I was, it was the best that I could do in the limited time that I had. I'm trying to, I've mentioned this before, but I was very specifically trying to mimic the original Command and Conquer style. So these
Yeah,
were
I
the
remember those.
there we go. These were my references for the stronghold that I created.
Yeah,
Um,
reference helps a lot as well when you need to do animations. Like when you get the keyframes, that's probably a must-have.
mhm.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
your game, in my opinion, looks good. Like you can always improve in art if you spend more time on it. What you need to get good is the mechanic on the beginning of the game. That's what probably drives 90% of the fun. I see mine that probably is lacking on that one because I spend my time much more on the story, on the lore,
Mhm.
rather than the mechanic of the game. Even the speed of a player, in my opinion, should be way faster compared what it is. Like
Mhm.
it, it should have much more fluent walking cycle than what it has at the moment.
Mhm. All right. I mean, can you tell me a little bit more about what some of the other changes you plan to make to the game are?
Uh, I would like to make probably a finished product for that one. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna reach Oddworld level, but something that at least I can share with friends and have fun of it.
Yeah,
Um, I'm I just enjoy to do games. I'm not really plan for the future what happen on any of those.
sure.
Um, as I said, I don't know to be honest. Probably I'm gonna fix those bugs about checkpoints and make a bit longer level so that you may see this poor guy escape this laboratory at least.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm wondering how much of the backstory you'd actually be able to get into the game itself, or whether you just want to have it as a kind of implication that maybe the player will discover it, maybe they won't.
Yeah, maybe probably the plan will be to create some demo of it, see how many people are interested in it, and see if it's worth to actually develop the full lore or the full gameplay around.
All right.
Pretty much like the story of Oddworld. They started from a platform game and then they created a world around.
Yeah, Dragonazer in the chat is mentioning a sort of like a decent Flash game in length.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Well, if you do end up creating an updated build of the game and you'd like feedback, then please feel free to share it with the Blue Screen Productions Discord. And if you just want to talk more about the design of the game, then I'm always happy to do that on stream.
Sure. Sounds a good idea. I will be
All
back
right.
for sure.
Great. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time, Gabriel.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.